The funding for this video is provided by the amazing members of our Patreon. Also contributions from viewers like you. Thank you. Yeah, I started from PBS Kids. What you gonna do? Fight me? Anyway, roll the video. Hey y'all, it's Harriana and I'm back with another video. Hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana and welcome back to the pirate ship, also known as Harry Hook's pirate ship. I am the captain, you are not my first mate, and I got no first mate because you want to know why? Bring your ear closer to the speaker so you can hear me clearly. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Alright. Nobody's worthy of being the first mate. But hi, hello, how are you doing? My name is Harriana, and I like to make content based on nostalgia and family and children's entertainment and all the issues that I find within those spaces. Now, on today's episode of Disney December, which is a series that I do at the end of every year, where I just spend the month of December making videos about Disney and things that are related to that. Yes, I got the idea from Doug Walker. Let's carry on. Today's video is actually inspired by Literacy. I really love her channel. I'm gonna have her video linked down below so you guys know what inspired this. But I'm always on my channel screaming and yelling at y'all to go read because I think reading is important. All types of books are important in my opinion. And I decided that I wanted to make my own version of this video because in her video she made a video talking about if you like this movie, here's like a book recommendation for that. And I know a lot of people have been feeling a bit uneasy lately with the Disney company, which is very much valid because you know they are funding that's going on. Free Palestine, by the way. So I know a lot of people are talking about, okay, I do want to move a little bit more away from Disney, but what are some things that I could be looking for entertainment to get away from them? And I have a list of like book recommendations to give you all, but we're gonna have to go over some ground rules. I wouldn't even say ground rules, just so you guys are fully aware and that you would know. A lot of the materials that I will be recommending will be specifically for like an older audience, specifically an adult audience, and then there will also be material in here that is specifically for teenagers, and then there's material in here that is specifically for people of all ages. This is really so to help people expand their media diets just as well, but also it's not just going to be novels that I'm recommending. I'm also going to be recommending graphic novels, comics, mangas, all of that. I appreciate all types of books, alright? And picture books, because they be trying to tell us that picture books ain't real books. Bitch, that's a real fucking book, alright? It is. It's just a form of storytelling. Now, let's go ahead and begin. So here's the format of how we're going to go about it. I am going to name the Disney property, describe what it is, and then I am going to name the book recommendation that I have for that. So the first one is actually two things that I recommend for this one book. One would have to be the TV show Kiff that came out this year, and then also the second would have to be Turning Red. Kiff is basically a show about this little squirrel girl just doing things. It's just her going on little adventures and whatnot. She's still learning who she is. She's still trying to find herself. She's still learning who her real friends are. She's still dealing with who fake shit, who this and that and the third, who. Kiff is a hot ass mess, okay? But it's an enjoyable hot mess. If you like The Amazing World of Gumball, you'll probably like Kiff. Turning Red is basically about a girl named May, and she's just trying to find herself and trying to figure out who she is. She's going through puberty and all of that jazz. She's like still trying to learn about the world and whatnot. For the most part, Kiff and Turning Red are just two things that I just feel like are about girls trying to find themselves. So the book recommendation that I have for this would have to be Gordita Built Like This. Now, this is a comic It's an independent comic published by Black Jose Press. And Gordita Built Like This is by Draizys. And this is more so her story that she is telling. The author, she's talking about her experience growing up as a Mexican American living in New York, specifically the Bronx. And she's like nerdy and doesn't fit in and whatnot. And part of the reason why is because her body looks different than the people that she's around. Her body doesn't look like the people that she is seeing on her TV show, like the television shows that she's watching, everything. And she watches like a lot of telenovelas. And y'all know there's a lot of colorism, featureism, texturism that goes on with telenovelas. I have been like looking into that, and it's actually kind of sad. But Draizys basically just tells her story about what it was like growing up at that age and how she was so self-conscious about her body, because it wasn't necessarily just her family that was making these comments about her body. It was also people that she was going to school with, and along the way she learns more about, you know, standing up for herself, being more confident, and realizing that she is just not limited down to her looks and her appearance, but more so for who she is as a person and her talents. It's super duper cute. Especially there's a part in Gordita Built Like This that reminds me so much of Turning Red, when she was like in her room like drawing and shit like that. And Gordita did like to draw like fanfiction and shit. It's actually really funny and it's a bit on the nose. So if you like Turning Red, if you like Kiff, you may like Gordita Built Like This. Now the next one, okay, I'm gonna have to explain this one a little bit more, but we're gonna be talking about Descendants, and this is more so like the first movie. Like, you know, they're still continuing it, but I say this would be more so like the Wicked World series, but like the first two movies, I say. But Descendants is basically what the fuck even is Descendants at this point? Honestly, Descendants is so attached to me at this point, I'd be forgetting what it is at times. But Descendants is basically a series about the descendants of Disney heroes and villains, like popular fairy tale story time characters. We basically learn about their kids and their life after that, and them trying not to be like, you know, like their parents. They're trying to find themselves in the world and whatnot. I'm not recommending Ever After High. Fuck y'all. Y'all literally dragged me away from Ever After High because y'all were getting on my nerves so bad about it. But a book series that I do recommend reading if you like Descendants, y'all gonna look at me like I recommend the Monster High books. I really do recommend the Monster High books, because this is a book series, by the way. It is written by Lisi Harrison. And if you are familiar with the Click book series that ended up getting like one movie and we never got no more after that, and I'm still upset. But Lisi Harrison wrote the Click book series, which is just a series about these rich girls and these rich people. Monster High, the book series, it's different from like the actual Monster High, I'd say that. But a lot of the characters are still pretty much like on the nose. They're very much similar. It is about, you know, the kids that are descendants of these famous monsters and whatnot, and them trying to find themselves and learn who they are, and this and that and the third. I'm not even gonna lie, I high-key enjoyed this book series a little bit more than, like I say, a lot of the Monster High movies, because let me tell you, after Boo York, the quality of Monster High films started to go down. I'm not even trying to like sound like pretentious or nothing, but after Boo York, it peaked right there. And honestly, there was a lot of money that went into Boo York, because they had musical numbers and shit like that. They sold a soundtrack, whatever. Boo York was like the grand event of the century. But I do have to give like a bit of a warning here. If you're really just only interested in like the stuff about like the descendants of like famous people, and the famous people here being like, you know, the monsters, you may only be interested in reading about it from Frankie's point of view. I really didn't give a fuck about the other girl in the story, the normal one. I really just care more so about Frankie. But it was very much given Descendants vibes, because they were like, wait a minute, that's your parent? That's your parent? Oh, okay, that's funny. But yeah, you just want a series about like the descendants of these notable figures in pop culture and whatnot, like Descendants, I recommend the Monster High book series. Okay, next, Amphibia. So Amphibia is a series about a girl named Anne. She is Thai, and she ends up getting sucked into this world of Amphibia. It is a land full of like frogs and toads and newts and shit like that. And along this way, she's learning who she is and coming of age, yada yada yada. That's so much of like what Disney content is. But these stories are deeply important. Trust me, me, y'all. We're gonna get to the shit later on that's not about like finding who you are and whatnot, because I got some good recommendations for the shit that's gonna come along the line. But the recommendation that I have for amphibia, it would have to be, hold on, let me get it, Meesh the Bad Demon. Now, this is actually a book by an artist named Michelle Lamb. She has worked in the professional animation industry and whatnot, but she's more so been an independent artist this year. And I know that this book is going to get a sequel. Part of the reason why I recommended Meesh the Bad Demon is because it's, like I said, it's a story about girl trying to figure out like who she is and whatnot. Meesh and Anne are more so like around like the same age and whatever, but Meesh and Anne are not like similar to each other whatsoever. For the most part, Meesh the Bad Demon, she ends up getting sucked into another world because the place that she's at ends up, you know, there's like a big ass disaster that happens there, and I don't want to spoil the book. And I really do think the artist would not appreciate if I spoiled the book too. Mainly, this is more so recommending. If this was a review of the book, that would be different. But Meesh is just basically, she doesn't feel like she fits in with everybody at her school. She feels as if she's too good because she's like a demon girl. And she also lives with her grandmother. That was like another touch to the story I really did like. And we did get to see them actually bond with one another, especially over Meesh's favorite TV show. So when all the bad shit start happening in Meesh's land, she's basically transported into another land, like, you know, how it was in Amphibia, a bit of an isekai, whatever. And then she meets the people there. They're helping her along the way. There's a lot of twists and turns and adventures and whatnot. It's actually super, super duper cute. And the main reason why I like recommended Amphibia and whatnot is because the land, like the art of Amphibia, it looks very kind of similar to like Meesh the Bad Demon. Like everything is just super cute and colorful and whatnot. But also Michelle Lamb, she is a Chinese American artist, and as we know, I think Asian stories matter. I think we need to, you know, make sure that we are, you know, promoting diversity and range when it comes to books. So yeah, Michelle Lamb, you did the damn thing on this. I love this so much. Can't wait for book 2. But like I said, if you like Amphibia, you might like Meesh the Bad Demon. Okay, moving on next. Okay, now we're getting more so into the grown stuff, thank God. So 20-something. 20-something is something that if you've been on my channel before, you're pretty familiar with what 20-something is. But 20-something is a Pixar Spark short. So I'm like, is it technically Disney? Is it not? It's on Disney Plus though, so I'm gonna just throw it in here. 20-something is basically a story about a 21-year-old woman named Gia. She is a black woman specifically, and she just goes to the club for the first time ever in her life. She's extremely nervous. She feels out of place, and she feels as if she's not adulting correctly. It's super duper cute. It's only like 7 minutes long. I wish it were longer. I wish we ended up getting a feature-length film, but Afton Corbin did the damn thing. I would love to see more from her. The book recommendation that I have for 20-something would have to be How to Be a Better Adult by Jacque A. Now, this was a book that I had on my list since like 2022, and I didn't read it until 2023 because that's like when it came out, and I was reading it on Kindle Unlimited, and it is like, when I tell you, I can relate to the main characters so much. I truly do. Because How to Be a Better Adult is a story about a black woman named Hope. She's pretty much in her 20s. And she just feels confused. She don't know what she's doing. She's trying to figure out how to get through the day. Trying to figure out how to do everything correctly. And it just shows you like the sad reality of what it is to like be a black woman in your 20s. It's just like you always got people testing you. But you also just feel as if you can't do anything right. You're just frustrated all the time. You're irritated all the time. There's dishes that need to be cleaned and you're just too lazy and over it to go do them. Oh no, you got fired from your job. You have to go look for another one. You want hobbies that you have to do. You're nervous about talking. You're nervous about networking, yada yada yada. And I adored this book so much, mainly because of how I was able to relate to the main character so well, because I completely understood the entire thing of like feeling awkward at work, especially when I used to work on that TV show. I used to like overthink every little last thing that I would say to my coworkers. If I did something wrong by accident, I would just like beat myself up about it for the whole day and whatever. And Hope is a very funny character. Like, she's actually hilarious, like kind of like unintentionally, but for the most part she's funny, because there's actually one part of the story that I think just like made me laugh so much, because Hope was like drinking alcohol and she like took like a sip of it and she was like, oh, this shit nasty, and then she like got a straw and still was drinking it, and I was like, girl, if you don't like it, why are you drinking it? But she was like trying to seem cool and whatnot, and I adored this book, How to Be a Better Adult. I can't wait to read more of Jacque's writing for sure, but she did the damn thing on this book right here. I highly do recommend it if you just want more coming of age stories about women of color, specifically black women, just trying to get through the damn day. Okay, this one is just a little bit of a reach here. The main focus of Shake It Up, it surrounds a TV show called Shake It Up Chicago. It is a dance series, whatever. It's like 106 in Park and whatnot, but for the most part it's just a show about these people that work on a TV show and their lives inside, outside of the show, and their relation to the show, and this and that and the third. Now this is also something I recommend if you like Abbott Elementary, because I'm not technically sure if Abbott is Disney or not, because they had like a lot of Disney licensed stuff within the series, but then I found out that like it's under Warner Bros.' name and shit like that. It's weird, like, but Abbott Elementary, a lot of people do associate it with the Disney label, and basically it's like a workplace television series about these people that work in this school. They work in an elementary school. It is very much underfunded, but it is funny as shit, and it just talks about the hardships of being an adult and whatever, but working in this environment. Okay, this is actually something that someone recommended to me if I like Abbott Elementary, but more so with Shake It Up. If you're just interested in more material about people that are working on a TV show, I highly recommend Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan. This actually has an anime adaptation. It's on Crunchyroll. It's only like 12 episodes long, but if you want to continue the whole story, it's basically a manga. They're still putting out some new editions that last time I checked, but I have the first 3 and I've read them, and it's so funny. It is so funny. Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan is a show that focuses on these people that work on this children's show. It's kind of like a Blue's Clues, big comfy couch type series where it's like preschool. It's like a preschool show. I'd say it's more like Barney and like the Doodle Bops. It's a bit like the Doodle Bops, but they have to sing and dance and this and that and the third. And it's so funny because when you look at these group of people that work on this show, you think that these are the last people that will work on a children's show, and they are very respectful towards the kids. That's something that I do appreciate. It's none of that weird gross shit that we often see up in anime and manga, because that shit gets so fucking annoying, and it's just but there are times where they say things that are a bit too depressing that they shouldn't be saying on set, and they would have to do retakes and whatnot. There's so many funny moments of them just reminiscing on what it was like to be younger, and them feeling as if they're just not living adulthood the way they should be. The main character, Uramichi, he is a former gymnast, but he has like a smoking and drinking problem, and he's just depressed as hell. But also the other cast members on the show are extremely depressed as hell just as well. Not all of them are like super depressed, but you can tell that so many of them just want more in life. And while they are thankful for the job that they have working on this TV show, it's just like, ooh, I do have a job on a TV show, but it's literally a freaking preschool show. Why was I not able to book something other than that and this and that and the third? And that's just kind of like the sad reality of what it is like, you know, being like an adult, where you want to be like pursuing your career, but you're not doing exactly what you want with your career. Like when I told you guys I worked on that TV show, the only time I really worked on that TV show was as a stand-in and as an extra. There were other things that I really wanted to do on the show, because I wanted to write I wanted to work in costumes and whatever, but it's just like, okay, I'm grown, I need my bills paid, I need employment, so I'm just gonna take what I can get. But yeah, if you just like Shake It Up for the aspect of it being a show that was about a TV show, a show about making a show, I highly recommend Life Lessons with Uramichi Oniisan. It's a lot more mature than Shake It Up, because Shake It Up was very much childish. It was one of my favorites. It's still one of my favorites, but this is a lot more mature. Yeah, it's fun. I adore it. It's great, okay? And if you guys do get the chance to watch the anime, I do recommend it, but I highly do recommend the manga. It's kind of a little cozy, I'd say. The art in it is just beautiful. It's very nostalgic. It reminds me a lot of like Nick Jr. I say, like the art in here. But yeah, that is the book that I recommend for that. Okay, next, The Princess and the Frog. Ooh, okay, this was a fun one. I was looking more so for books about like what it's like working in culinary and being a waitress and shit like that. But I did find those books, but I didn't get around to reading them. But I did find one really good one that my friend Gia over there at the City Girl Writer YouTube channel. I'll link her channel down below if you guys are ever looking for book recommendations. She reads way more than I do. I will have that link down below. For the most part, this is what The Princess and the Frog is about. It's about a black woman named Tiana, and she is basically trying to get her own restaurant. She's working in 1920s America, specifically in New Orleans, and she does not have like much of a social life. Her friends be telling her that she need to go out and go have fun, but she's just constantly working because she's trying to fulfill her dream. But it's more so her trying to fulfill her dad's dream of wanting his own restaurant. But she has a big love for cooking. She has an overall big heart. She's such a sweetheart, and she ends up running into a man named Naveen. Basically, his ass is responsible for why she got turned into a frog. He is like a spoiled brat. He's annoying as shit. I can't stand him. But as the movie goes along the way, he starts to like, you know, realize that Tiana is that bitch and that he should appreciate her. And she like, you know, teaches him about cooking and whatnot and like helps him become a better person. I hate the fact that so much of this movie was her teaching her how to be a better fucking human being. But if you like the romantic aspect of The Princess and the Frog and the cooking aspect of that just as well, you will like Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. Now, this is a story about a football player that owns a bakery shop and a woman that is a reality television star, and her name's Jada, and she's like a spoiled brat. It's reversed because the man in the story is more so like Tiana, and the woman in this story is more so like Naveen. The roles are reversed, but in here, he's basically just frustrated and annoyed with the way his bakery is going. He's like this super duper famous. I don't even think he's super duper famous, because when it comes to sports, that's like a specific type of niche. I can't tell you who any of the sports players are on the Hawks. I can't tell you who none of the Falcons are. That's just how much I don't care. But there are people that care about sports. They know who this man is. He has this bakery shop because he wants something else to fall back on once he's done with football, and more so like a backup plan and whatnot. But also, this is just something that he genuinely likes. He loves baking. He has a passion for it and all that shit. And it's actually really, really freaking cute to see. But because he's always working, he's either working with football or he's working with his bakery, he seldomly takes care of himself and his social life and whatnot. And that is when he meets Jada. Him and Jada did not have like a good run-in with each other, but she's also like a spoiled brat. She was on this reality show where that ended up giving her like a really, really bad reputation. But they start fake dating in a way. It was mainly because Jada ended up getting wrapped up in a lie where she said that there was somebody else she was seeing. That's why she didn't want to get with that man on the dating show that she was with. Basically, her and the football player are pretending to date, and part of this has to do with the fact that it is driving up sales at the bakery. So yeah, it's actually a funny, cute, messy love story. The dynamic really reminds me a lot of how Tiana and Naveen were in The Princess and the Frog. So if you like The Princess and the Frog, you might like Fake It Till You Bake It by Jamie Wesley. Now next, this book right here is actually my favorite book that I've read this year. I'm not even fucking joking. And I have a cosplay like planned for it soon. I actually have everything that I need to do it with. I just need to actually get up and take the damn pictures, but I've just been in a funk. But this book is a recommendation for Kim Possible, and it's not going to be what you think for Kim Possible specifically, but Kim Possible is this show about this high schooler, and she's like, you know, fighting crime, saving the day. She is the one named Kim Possible. Sing it in the Sailor Moon tone if you want to get the reference. But this isn't really more so about Kim. This is more so about the two main villains within the series named Jacque and Shiko. And as I rewatched Kim Possible as an adult, I realized that Jacque and Shiko's dynamic was like my favorite aspect, because I loved it when I was younger, but now that I'm an adult and I can understand the dynamic a little bit more between the two and a lot of their bickering and bantering, so it's not necessarily a surprise when we find out they get together in the end or they have feelings for each other all along. Like, he know he love him some Shio. That dynamic right there, it's super duper funny. It's just these two people that are a hot ass mess, but they are very dependent on each other and they need each other in order to get through the day and whatever. If you like the dynamic with Jacque and Shiko, and if you like Shiko as a character for the most part, you will like The Grim Reaper's Lawyer. You will love The Grim Reaper's Lawyer by Monique. This is my favorite book that I have read this year. Literally one of my favorite books ever now at this point. The book isn't for everybody, I'm gonna go ahead and say that, but it sure as hell was for me. It's basically about a woman named Joyce, and she is a lawyer. Her client basically K-worded her. He was gonna lose the case and all that shit, and she ends up being transferred to Eden, and she basically is a Grim Reaper's lawyer after that. And he is a lot like Draken. You know how Draken is. He just like don't be having no respect for Shiko at first, but then he realized that he actually do need her and he does deeply appreciate her and whatnot. But Joyce reminds me a lot more of Shiko, I say. And I say like more so if Shiko had a heart. Shiko is a woman that I just feel like need a lot of help, and Joyce is a woman I feel like they need a lot of help, but she's a lot more like likable in a sense, I'd say. We're a lot more easier to root for Joyce because she actually cares about helping people, where Shiko really just cares about hurting people. Shiko is a very interesting character, okay? She's a girl failure. We love her for that though. I have an entire video I made about Shiko earlier this year. I will have that link down below. But Joyce is a very funny character. She makes me laugh a lot, like how Shiko makes me laugh a lot. Her dynamic with her client, who is the Grim Reaper that she is the lawyer of, it's like so much of it is like bickering and bantering, and then they actually do start to like, you know, develop feelings for one another and whatnot, and that did happen with Shiko and Draken and whatever. But if you love the dynamic with Shiko and Draken and Kim Possible, you will love The Grim Reaper's Lawyer, by the way. And it's like, okay, it got cut off, and this is also like black fantasy, by the way. A lot of the stories and books and shit like that that I have been recommending have been by authors and writers of color, because like I said, important diversity, we need that. Okay, the next one has to be Cruella. Now, I talked about this book, it's a manga, on my channel before, and while it does make me mad, I do appreciate it for this one aspect. But if you guys ever seen the movie Cruella, it's basically a fashion film. Cruella is a movie where that writing needed work. The way it looked and all the fashion scenes and all that shit ate down. It ate the fuck up. If you were just interested in reading something that is just about the world of fashion, I do recommend Yazawa's Paradise Kiss. Paradise Kiss pisses me off. A lot of her writing pisses me off in general, but the fashion aspect of her work always hits. Paradise Kiss, the fashion is beautiful. I love it. I adore it. It's my favorite part of that story right there. So I highly recommend that. Yeah, moving forward. Now, this is for the people that are fans of High School Musical, the musical, the series. High School Musical, the musical, the series is just basically, it's a show about this high school drama club. That's pretty much it. That's all you need to know about it. Heartbreak, confessions, drama, singing, dancing, all that shit. That's literally just what it is. I don't need to go in more detail about it. Now, if you like High School Musical, the musical series, you will like drama by Rihanna Telegrammer. If I mispronounce her name, please help me. Raina Telegrammer, Rihanna Telegrammer. If I mispronounced it, just correct me in the comments. But basically, it's just a story about this school's drama club, but also it is about like bisexuality and dating and heartbreak and all of that shit. But it's more so focusing on the lead girl and how she works behind the scenes of theater and she isn't on stage. And yeah, High School Musical, the musical series does a good job of showing us the behind the scenes of a production, but also on stage of the production. And drama does a lot with that. Mind you, this is a book a lot of y'all know, because I remember I mentioned it like one time on my channel, and a lot of y'all told me that y'all were familiar with it. So I was like, should I even recommend this one? But yeah, that's pretty much it. I have one more recommendation, and y'all might look at me like, bitch, what the fuck? If you like Hamilton, and Hamilton, while it is not entirely accurate to the story, if you just like learning about history to a certain extent and you want it to be in a language that you can understand it, because I understand a lot of this shit be hard to comprehend, I think you would like me and Amaya's book called Do Not Call Me Sis. It is a collection of essays that focuses on misogynoir. We talk a bit about history. We talk about the Atlantic slave trade pretty often in here. It's kind of sad. We talk about misogynoir, we talk about fandom bullshit, we talk about entertainment, we talk about ableism and whatnot. But if you are just looking for a refreshing collection of essays to read that is not afraid to like use profanity but talks about how we feel and our thoughts and opinions on the world and whatnot, but are also wanted to learn a little bit more, I do recommend me and Amaya's book, Do Not Call Me Sis. It's available for purchase on my website, in physical copy, digital copy, and also an audio book for those who prefer to listen to your books. Because somebody has said something about, do audiobooks count as reading? Yes, y'all need to read books. I really recommend reading books. But that's pretty much it. That's all I gotta say for today's video. If you guys know of any Disney property that you think would like, if you like this Disney property, here's a book that you may enjoy just instead. And it could be any kind of book. It could be a manga, it can be a manga, it can be a graphic novel, it can just be a novella, it could be an actual book. When I say an actual book, I mean like the big books with a whole bunch of words and shit and all that. Please comment down below, because I'm always looking for new books to read. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And you guys like to follow me on everything, just follow me on Hariana, H-A-R-I, right in an A. Alright, that's enough. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day, night, whatever time of the day you chose to watch this video. I'm just thankful that you watched it with the ads on. Alright, thank you. Goodbye.